If you're looking up things to do in Traverse City, there's no doubt that getting out on the water is going to be a popular search result. Kayaking, boating, fishing, or hanging out on the beautiful northern Michigan beaches should definitely be on your list, but what you should also think about is exploring beneath the surface of the beautiful blue water. Before we dive into the conversation about shipwrecks, I want to introduce myself. My name is KJ Sayer. I'm a lifelong local and a real estate agent in Northern Michigan. If you're interested in buying or selling real estate in the area, you can find my information in the description below. Now let's get to it. When I think about Traverse City, I picture boats on the bay, people on the beach, and a downtown area full of tourists. It's hard to imagine that less than 200 years ago, this area was primarily a logging operation and a hub for commerce and maritime trade. Many ships would venture in and out of Grand Traverse Bay carrying lumber and other goods to be transported. Unfortunately, that brought along dozens of shipwrecks from the mid-1800s to the mid-1900s. If you go on TraverseCity.com, you can find an interactive map with 25 shipwrecks in Leelanau and Grand Traverse County. And they even go as detailed as marking how deep each of these ships can be found. The best part about this is you can decide what shipwreck you want to explore based on how experienced of a diver you are. I have exactly zero diving knowledge and struggle to pop my ears when I go underwater. However, my friend Adrian is extremely experienced and he's been to many of the local shipwrecks. He told me an easy one to start with is the Metropolis shipwreck at the tip of Old Mission Peninsula. The Metropolis was a 125-foot vessel that set out to Chicago from Elk Rapids in November of 1886. The ship got caught in a snowstorm and ran aground off Old Mission Peninsula. And even though the crew was dealing with the winter weather and the rough waters, they made it to shore and everyone survived. As winter went on, the ice started building up on the bay and the ship was actually split in two. The majority of it was pulled down into deeper water. Today, the boat sits in about 120 feet of water, but the keel and the ribs remain where they ran aground in about 10 feet. As I mentioned, I'm extremely inexperienced, so we grabbed the snorkeling gear and set out to find the part of the boat that sits in the shallow water. Because the water is so clear and the boat is so shallow, you can actually see the keel from a satellite image, which makes it really easy to find. You can launch kayaks at Hazrat Beach and paddle up the coast of the peninsula. While diving down and seeing the old keel was fascinating, I think the part I enjoyed most was swimming with the fish. I'm sure no matter what wreck you decide to explore, you'll get to enjoy some fish that are using the wreck for shelter. Whether you're on vacation looking for something to do or a lifelong local wanting to experience something new in Northern Michigan, I highly recommend exploring some shipwrecks. While all of the man-made attractions and local businesses should be enjoyed, don't forget that this is one of the most beautiful places on earth and we should get out and enjoy all of the things that aren't commercialized. Once again, if you have any questions about real estate in the area, you can find my contact information in the description below or find me on kjsayer.com.